What up?
What's up, man?
What's going on?
The inaugural podcast, dude. I'm
Here it
excited about
is.
this.
This is a good day to start. It's a good week to start it. So why not?
I know.
Um, so many things happen in the NBA and so many things with the Suns.
Yeah.
But before we get going, we got to give the intro to who you are to anybody that decides to listen to this crap.
Yeah.
And
No, everyone is going to listen.
the best way I thought to intro yourself is not that crappy, like, yo, I'm Desi, blah, blah, blah. No. I need you to describe yourself as the guy I'm about to pick up on my five for pickup basketball. Who are you? you have 1 minute to sell me on why you should be my fifth. Go.
All right, dude. I'm a lockdown defender and I'm a point guard. I will feed you the ball wherever you need it. And at the same time, I might even take you out to dinner. My name is Desi. What's up, dude?
Okay. Who's your player comp?
Ooh, point guard, man.
Okay. All right. I'll take that. I like that. Obviously, I'll introduce myself. If you want
go
me
ahead.
To. So I'm Cyrus. Play bigger than I am. You can find me in the post. You can find me in the wing. I hate bringing up the ball, but I can facilitate. I'll probably give you a solid 2, 2, and 2. I'm gonna get 2 assists, 2 points because that's 2 buckets if we're playing pickup. Probably 2 rebounds, maybe a third. I don't know. We'll see. I'm good for 4 fouls easily.
In the first quarter.
Oh yeah, definitely. Player comp, probably Torrey Craig. I prefer defense. I'll hit your occasional 3. I'm just that's a great player comp for me.
Dude, like the past, I would say the past 8 months, I've just to fill my time, I've just been balling, and it's so funny because as always, the first thing to go are your handles. Yeah. I'd like to think that I'm dope in my head, but it doesn't really translate.
I just played this week, and I was reminded that I'm in the upper echelon of age for pickup basketball. Young guys just flying all over the court. I was like, that ain't me no more.
Yeah. Same here, dude. I haven't played pickup in a really long time, but I tried playing one-on-one with my brother, and we were trying to play to 11. We're like, "Hey, you cool with playing till 7?"
Yeah, 7. 7's cool, right?
7's cool. Win by 2, no.
Y'all playing the 30 and up half court basketball.
Yeah, jeez,
that's what's up. So what a week, right? If I had to name this podcast, I know exactly what it's going to be called. It's going to be called the Chris Paulcast. At least for this episode. This has got to be the Chris Paulcast episode. So tell me, initial reactions. Obviously, if you're a Suns fan, you know what's happening. But for those who don't know, Chris Paul does have COVID. He tested positive. He is vaccinated, according to multiple sources. Mm-hmm. This is not going to be a fact-checking stat kind of podcast, kind of rolling off of what I know. So, Des, first reaction, you see this news, you wake up, you get your little protein shake in, and then what?
Bro, straight up, it was 6:30. Saw the update because I always watch Get Up, every morning with my coffee. So I saw the update. My first thoughts are this man cannot catch a break. We're talking Game 7. Rockets, in my opinion, that year, had what they needed to beat, the Warriors. And my first thought is this dude cannot catch a break. I feel for him. Obviously going through all of the protocols and whatnot. And at the time, we didn't really know that he did test positive. That came out obviously today. But at the same time, man, it's just dude, this dude cannot catch a freaking break.
Yeah. I mean, I'm on the East Coast, so I'm getting the news kind of the same time probably that you're waking up and getting it. Yeah. And, I was scrolling through Twitter. Suns Twitter was, obviously very reactionary. But one thing I saw that was kind of cool, and it was a positive twist to this. Obviously, a terrible situation for Suns fans. But one thing I did see was a quote from Monty from I think it was last year. He's like, everything you want is on the other side of hard. And this is your hard. And I'm thinking, man, those words couldn't ring truer to right now. We were riding a real high roller coaster, and we're about to on the come down and about to get reality check if we want to ride this roller coaster again.
Yeah. No, man, I really love Monty because in so many ways, because I remember when obviously Chris Paul got drafted to him, and I don't really know until this past year what the fallout was when they first, obviously coach and player But this last year, especially after the George Floyd killing, the thing that I really enjoyed was some of the insight that Monty brought into his Zoom calls. He talked about players' mental health, and he talked about giving them a platform and talking about really hard things. So right off the bat, man, you get that type of coach that really values you as a person, like you're going to give anything and everything, not only just to the game, but also to your team. So I like him, man. I really, really do. I'm glad that they're seeing success with him.
I love it. Yeah. I mean, we saw it last year. It's just the complete turnaround from the seasons of that we'd like to forget real quick.
You and I would argue about it.
I know. We were like, no, man, we should have kept Eric Bledsoe. No, that was a good trade. Hindsight 2020, that was a great trade. But like,
it was a great trade.
People will be like, you got to go through hard things to enjoy the good stuff. No, that's not the case for all the teams in the NBA. A lot of teams have had good stuff a long time, almost all my life. Like, why can't we have that? And finally, it feels like it's coming back to us. Like, it's finally coming full circle. So
it's funny, man. When people ask me like who my teams are, like I guess we're just glutton for punishment, man. It's like hope.
It's an Arizona thing.
Hope. Yeah, it's just like hope, and then it's like, shit. I knew it this whole time.
Yeah, why like, get my hopes up? The realist in me says you knew this was coming. The pessimist in you says stop rooting for them, and the optimist is like, but I love orange and purple.
It's true, man. Like I've really enjoyed, especially in the bubble. Like, we went undefeated, obviously, and we played extremely well against really, really great talent. And obviously, talent that went far in the bubble. And we look at this season too. It's like they showed out, man.
I just love that the bubble wasn't a fluke. We barely got there. Same. Obviously, we know that we had 1% chance to even make the playoffs or have a chance at the playoffs. Mm-hmm. And we went 8-0, only team to go undefeated. It's a cool stat. The bubble's a special memory. At least for whatever reason, the Lakers will obviously they're there because they won it, but the Suns are there too, being memorable because they're 8-0. A lot of people thought, all right, well, they're going to be fighting for 5 through 8 in the West. And what do? We carry all the momentum. We silence all the doubters when we get Chris Paul. We almost get the number 1 seed. We end up with 2, but like we weren't that far off. Ayton plays the whole season. Huge deal. Remember last year he missed 25 games. We're seeing this kid grow up like right in front of our eyes, and this is like the best time to watch basketball. And he's playing the best basketball we've seen, in my opinion, from his career, because you and I have both watched him from U of A, being 100%. Arizona alumni. So I'm just like, it's so awesome that it's finally clicking, and everyone feels this way. At least if you're a Suns fan.
Yeah, it's funny. I was listening. I forgot who I was listening to. I want to say it might have been Jay Will. No, it was Bill Simmons. Bill Simmons podcast, and he had talked about DeAndre Ayton and how like he's doing his job, like he's doing the rebounding, he's rim protecting. He's getting those dishes. He's able to finish. And like, he's not the type of guy that you need to go run a play for. Like, he's just going to go out and he's doing the intangibles. And that's what I'm really excited to see. There are aspects of it that like, I feel like he has at times like soft hands where people can strip him really easily. And I'm thinking about it from an athlete development standpoint. I mean, I'm a sports dietitian, man, and specialize in performance. So when I look at it, it's like, all right, their strength and conditioning is going to get him stronger. Like he's going to be all right.
Yeah.
But he showed out, man. I'm really happy with what I'm seeing, especially in this playoff run.
Before we continue, I think it's really cool that people who do listen that don't know you, you are a sports dietitian. You're all about nutrition. So you're watching the game with a different lens, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you think about things that like I'm watching it from a basketball perspective. If you ask Alana, she would say you're watching it from the announcer's perspective because I say everything that they say about 2 seconds before them, I swear.
Yeah.
But let's pause for a second. Tell me what you see or what you're looking at specifically maybe with DeAndre Ayton, and let's tap into that nutrition portion a little bit more.
So like I actually follow the head strength and conditioning coach for the Suns because at the start of the pandemic, the Suns were hiring a performance dietitian. So you're applying. So I was about to apply next day. Pandemic started, it got taken. So that's where I'm like, no. But I follow him, and so he, just like other really good performance strength and conditioning coaches, they're working on basketball players' hips. They're working on their strength, their power. They're working on their upper body, their shoulders. and there's a great deal of mobility. So if you have a body that large and you're running up and down and you see him hustling the whole time,
Yeah,
that has everything to do with his ability to keep his core and to keep his glutes and everything else. So like I'm seeing it from an athlete standpoint and a power standpoint of like knowing likely what type of exercises that they're doing.
sure.
And then from a nutrition perspective, it's like, electrolyte replenishment, like, like with Chris Paul, he's not getting the minutes that he was when he was in his early 20s, but they're preserving him along with the athletic trainers in a way where it's like, if this is an area of like the quarter where like there's not a whole lot going on and we can have the bench help you out, come rest, like load management, like let's get a pack on your shoulder, let's do something, let's get you in some mobility. So like I'm seeing it just from a whole different lens of noticing when players are really fatigued and that rest factor, and also just knowing what I know about athletes, like which one of you motherfuckers went out last night?
Who was with James Harden?
Yeah, who was with James Harden? Who was with Drake last night?
So tell me this. Tell me this. I love that you brought up. You can notice fatigue through just kind of the conditioning and all that. I think obviously NBA players are on another level for conditioning, but Devin Booker, obviously he's our star, but that guy, like, he doesn't look strong. He's not some big buff guy. He doesn't come off as high flying or super fast or anything. But if you watch him play, when the ball's in his hand, he's one of the fastest guys on the court. He doesn't like he's got a motor. He comes at you 100. People don't talk about it. He comes at his defenders 110% every single time the ball's in his hands. The only thing I don't see him do, and I think this will probably come as he gets older, is a lot more off the ball. When plays aren't called for him, he's not doing the Reggie Miller, Rip Hamilton, Klay Thompson kind of keep moving kind of thing. But we'll speak to that a little bit. I want to hear what you think about his conditioning, especially during the playoffs. I mean, energy levels up, adrenaline's pumping. Like you get tired naturally just because this is somewhere you haven't been before. I want to hear about that from
you. I watch him play, and like his level of the way he takes angles when he's dribbling. Like he's going around the perimeter and finding those spots, which I think is so fantastic. So when you look at a high energy player like that, right off the bat, we're thinking electrolyte replenishment the second that he gets back, because anytime that you sweat, you're sweating out mostly sodium and potassium. And that's not a great thing. I mean, we've all seen the baseball caps that have salt on it. Sure. And I would always tell working with professional athletes, like, hey, that's not a good thing. It means like you're losing too much salt. You need to replenish that back. So as I look at it, it's not only that, but he's also someone, when he's taking these shots, he doesn't miss short, which leads me to believe that he is extremely powerful, and the strength and conditioning that's helping him is based off of more squats, like really, really powerful movements where he's doing possibly jump squats or things that are going to provide him with that lift so that he can get that shot so that it's not short.
That's a really good point. That's a really good point. I mean, I would have never, like, you're right. I mean, I could tell you he doesn't really shoot short shots. He always hits back iron for the most part.
Always.
That's great. That's the kind of stuff that you're not going to get from just a casual fan.
Yeah.
But I know you watch it. Like I said, I know you're watching with a different lens. Yeah. So, no, that's awesome. Let's switch it up a little bit. Let's stop getting so scientific and let's have a little more fun with it. You know what I'm saying? Okay.
Let's go.
I saw, I'm just going to go off of what I saw on Twitter today, which was kind of a funny topic and it's relevant. So if you're paying attention to NBA news today, you saw that, Dallas is kind of imploding upon themselves. Dude. Mark Cuban gets rid of the GM. Donnie Nelson's been there for years on years on years. I can only remember his name associated with Dallas. Yeah. And then we see Rick Carlisle stepping down, championship coach, 13 years there. He's established his family. He's known to be a good coach. Like no one's really ever said anything bad about Rick Carlisle. He steps down. Obviously, Mark's going to do whatever Luka wants. Like Luka, you don't get generational talent all the time. Yeah. But this is where I tied Suns Twitter and Suns basketball into this. Was I saw a proposal that says Devin Booker and like a pick or something for Luka and something like essentially Devin Booker for Luka. Yeah. Right now, are you taking that? I have my answer. I'll let you go first. No. I want you to. Okay, you can answer multiple ways. I know you're thinking with your brain, but what your heart says want to do something different. Your face says it all, Des.
No, man, I'm not giving away Booker. Like I'm not.
Hard.
Hard no. Yeah, I think the type of athlete that he is and his development is going to be great. Now, my strength and conditioning brain on Luca is like, yo, you've had third season, right?
Third season, yeah. I
Third
mean,
season.
Andy played in the second best league prior to that
Yeah.
in overseas.
What I know about athlete bodies is like you've had 3 seasons. Like you should be much more powerful than what I'm seeing.
But he's 21 and he be drinking every night probably. So.
Exactly. So like that's the concern. Like that we were just talking about Book just not missing short. Like I love Luca. I just from a strength and conditioning standpoint, a performance standpoint, I'm like, you're working off of all of your talent right now. And that bothers me a little bit.
Okay.
What about you?
So I'll give you my answer. So I'm not even looking at science from a pure basketball perspective. I'm 100,000,010%, whatever the percentage is absolutely not Devin Booker rolling with the Suns because you don't go to war with someone and then turn around and shoot him in the back, right? Like this dude has been in the trenches with us. He didn't ever ask for a trade. He didn't ever complain. He just came to work every single day. He kept getting better. He kept putting up quote unquote empty stats on bad teams, which we know, you know, if you really watch the Suns, this dude could do it on any team. So it didn't matter.
Yeah.
And he's showing you right now. So I know Luka's a generational talent. I'm going to be a little homer right here. And I'm like, no, man, I'm keeping Devin. Y'all can we had our chance at Luka. Like, you know, it's kind of like almost like an ex-girlfriend. You don't go back to ex-girlfriend. Like you guys broke up. Well, I mean, we broke up with Luka when we didn't take him in the number 1 pick. I'm not going back to him. I got my man's Ayton, and I'm keeping Devin because Devin's a soldier. All right.
Yeah.
Like he is the face. He's not the face of the franchise. I'm going to point this out for everybody in Arizona and everyone who's not from Arizona that might listen. He's not just the face of the franchise right now. He's the face of the city. Larry Fitzgerald was our face of the city. If you ask anybody, Larry Fitzgerald's the guy. He's getting up there. He's 30 something, 38, whatever it is. I don't know off the top of my head. Yeah. But guess who's the new one? That guy that's 24 years old, Devin Booker. Or is he 24 or 23?
Yeah, I think he's 24.
Okay, so
I mean, I just found out that he was dating Kendall too.
How did you just find that out?
Dude, I had no idea.
Okay, so Desi is our he's our geezer of the podcast. So he'll give you the Gen X perspective. I'll give you the millennial and maybe a little bit of Gen Z.
Dude, I'm not down with the Kardashians, man. I don't
I'm
watch
not either,
any
but
of it.
my man I follow Booker on socials. You got to know.
Yeah.
But my point is, that's our guy. He's the face of the city. Like we're not just going, you know, it's not happening. It is what it is.
Yeah. Yeah, especially just with Dallas right now imploding. Like I just saw that Carlisle stepping down as well. That's not good. Like something's going on.
Yeah, you know what feels good? It's not Phoenix for once.
Oh,
we're not doing the coaching carousel. We're not having. Have you noticed our owner has not been mentioned in a while? James Jones just doing silent work. You know, silent but deadly is James Jones. That was his whole career. I mean, he even was a great 3-point shooter when he did play. He's a great locker room guy. And then it's just transpired into being a great GM. He knows what to look for. I laugh. I think about this all the time. When I watch Suns games, I remember people clowning the Suns for trading for Bridges, clowning the Suns for taking the oldest guy in the draft, Cam Johnson. He's older than Devin Booker. Why would you draft him? He has hip problems.
Yeah.
And look at how much production they gave. Not just the playoffs, the whole season. We don't get to number 2 seed without those guys going crazy all season.
Dude, I love Bridges because
I love him.
mean, so my brother and I went to game 1, which
against the Lakers, right?
Against the Lakers,
which I'm jealous. I've never seen LeBron play either, and I heard you got to go. I was so jealous.
I got to go, and he again, and this is kind of like greatness too, but you have to compare him to the greats, and I don't know how many greats had an 18-point night and just like really didn't show up. You know, on top of that, AD I think had 12 points or 13 points. It was just bad, but like what was really great about it was Bridges played his ass off against LeBron. Like he rebounded, he was not afraid. And then that was also the game that Book went off, and then he kind of wrote his story the rest of the playoffs after that. But after seeing that, like I really, really enjoy him. And even just Cam too, like he's stepping out in a really good role position. He's not missing a whole lot of shots, and he's only taking like 5 per game. You know what I mean? So it's like there's a couple things that I'm seeing that I'm really excited about from the standpoint of like the bench.
Yeah. I was going to say one thing that I've noticed or I picked up on is, and it was a huge thing for that first series, was Ayton and Bridges played guys on the defensive end much better than them, way out of their tier. Potential, you know, obviously LeBron's a Hall of Famer, if not the GOAT, but AD also probably on his way to be a Hall of Famer as well. And they played to their level. A lot of times we always talk about guys playing down. Those two have played up, if I will. And they took it into Denver. Denver, I mean, Ayton versus Jokic. Jokic's going to do what he's going to do. I mean, that's the Joker.
Yeah.
But Ayton, you don't get his jersey signed by the MVP if you didn't, you know, get his respect during that series. And that's exactly what Ayton got, which he showcased, I think, on socials today or yesterday. And Bridges, I mean, we knew he could defend, but that LeBron series, I think it gave him that confidence that, like, I belong.
Yeah.
But I have a question for you, another reaction. Let me see how you feel, okay? All right, a little more Suns action.
All right.
So we talked about how good Booker is. We know CP3 is a Hall of Famer. We're talking about how Ayton and Bridges and Johnson, all these guys, you know, everybody's contributing. We're number 2 seed, yada, yada, yada. How do you feel that Monty didn't get Coach of the Year, that Devin Booker is not All-NBA, that it took, an injury to get Devin Booker even into the All-Star game? Bridges doesn't make an all-defensive team. Like, our guys keep getting shortchanged. Tell me how you feel. How should Suns fans feel, man? How like, is that a disrespect thing or what? Like, is that because Bill Simmons doesn't talk about the Suns and all these big-time podcasters don't, like, care? Because tell me.
All right. So you and I have argued about this a lot coming from just fanhood, right? I've always been on the side of holding teams and organizations accountable for some of the moves that they make. And so in some ways, I understand the slights. I don't agree with it, but it's like, hey, these are the Phoenix Suns, right? So when we look at what their production has been this year, like I can imagine that next year, like they're going to start getting a whole lot more clout, and the clout that is well deserved. But I can.
Do you want that clout? Do you want that clout?
Absolutely. Sure. You know what I mean? So like
when
you look at it, I can understand, because if we look at the tail of the tape, right? If we look at just everything, we have not made the best choices.
No,
and we have
a decade of bad choices.
Yeah, we have been really horrible. And
Alex Len, Dragon Bender.
Yeah. Freaking Alex Len, dude. Oh my god.
Hey, he's over here in DC playing for
I was gonna say he's in DC. God.
Anyways, sorry.
Yeah. So like,
but you want the clout. You want the clout.
Yeah, I want the clout. I want the clout. Especially, you know, if Monty's not gonna get it, like Book.
Ugh.
I mean, I remember Dame had an issue with it. You know, Dame says
LeBron.
Yeah.
I mean, guys. I mean, I think a bunch of podcasts have talked about this. The players in the league know. They know.
Booker's the man.
He's the man. They know. Like, and as a fan, if you didn't watch the Suns, I guess you wouldn't know. But like, as a Suns fan, I think I watched every single game this entire year, and I think last year too. And it's hard because I'm on the East Coast. They come on late, but like I've watched the games. I'm like, nah, this dude is not empty stats. Like, and I've been saying that, but like you see it, he had this confidence from the jump, but it looks different when you're winning. I will say that it looks different when you're winning. Look at Trae Young on the East. Like, people counted them out because they were under 500 halfway through the season. They get Nate McMillan. Look at that swagger now. He was doing this already, right? Like, he was doing these stats change, or magically he found the, you know, Mike's secret sauce or whatever. But now that his team is winning, it looks different. People are noticing. So I'm thinking the Suns are going to have a similar effect going into next season. They already kind of brought a little bit of it, but next season's, you know, their power rankings we're up there. You know who Sorry, this is a Homer podcast now.
Yeah, right. So you know who I am really, really loving right now? And I hated him because he talked shit to Book when Book had the 80-point night. I think it was probably against the Celtics.
70 points. You talk about Jay Crowder.
Points.
You talk about Jay Crowder.
Yeah, talking about Jay Crowder.
He commented. Y'all still lost though.
Yeah.
And ironically, I think Jay was like guarding. He was on the Celtics.
Yeah, he was on the Celtics, but right now Jay Crowder's probably
we haven't even mentioned Jay Crowder this year.
I know, outside of Book, like he's probably one of my favorite players. He reminds me of Draymond Green, and I remember I would yell at Anthony, my brother, about like Draymond Green, like I cannot stand this dude, and we would have arguments, but like you need a guy like that, a guy if he's on your team, like you need him, and I feel like
you need a dog.
Crowder, yeah, I feel like Jay Crowder's a little bit of that right now.
We have Chris and Jay Crowder.
Yeah, God.
I mean, hey, say what you want. Chris is a dog.
Chris is a dog in a different way. I feel like Chris.
He's a mental guy. Like he's playing chess. Y'all are playing checkers.
Yeah, he's a sniper. He's gonna hit you without any cameras or anything, and you're gonna want to sock the dude because you can't. And
meanwhile, Jay plays that enforcer / you're not bullying guys on our team, and I agree. You do. Everyone needs that, and it brings a toughness and it brings a swagger. And the fact that like the salsa dancing on the Lakers, I'm like, good for us, man. That's like that reminded me like Ron Artest days. Like he was the guy that would do that.
I was really happy with that series. I was really.
All
happy.
I know is this is a fun team. Like fun. Yeah. Everyone knows. I mean, I say everyone, but Suns fans know. Like we've been waiting for this time. But we want to hold on to it. And hopefully it keeps going. So as I bring that up, hopefully for it keep going, who would you rather play? Now that we're kind of seeing what the Clippers are with or without Kawhi, we see what the Jazz are. We know what the Jazz could be. Mike Conley hasn't even played a single game for that series. So like, who would you rather have?
I would rather have the Clippers because I feel like that team in itself, I mean, with or without Kawhi, like they've underperformed. So
how so?
How have they underperformed?
You just think that they should be in the like 1, 2, 3 or?
Yeah, I mean, I think with Kawhi, like with what he's able to do, I mean, Kawhi is obviously going to be future Hall of Famer. I mean, with that type of person, like you need to be able to go deep in the playoffs and at least get to the NBA Finals, right? Okay. I mean, he's been there multiple times. It's that whole like cliche championship DNA, right? So to me, I would rather right now play the Clippers with that because, I mean, I don't really love their team, and so I'd love to beat them. I'm a little bit afraid of Rudy Gobert and Donovan Mitchell, though.
So okay, I'm gonna hit you with the counter. I'm gonna hit you with the counter. So I was talking to Sam. Shout out Sam Petty.
Hey, buddy.
Shout out the Petty family. But I agree a little bit about the Clippers, but I will give you the counter if we did play the Jazz.
Okay.
Chris Paul is going to put Rudy Gobert in the pick and roll every single play, and he can't sag as much as he can with the Clippers because they don't really run a center. We have DeAndre Ayton. You sag, Chris pulls that jumper and hits it. That's the timeless jumper that we've seen throughout the playoffs his whole career. He's not missing that too often, right? Yeah. If you come up, DeAndre Ayton can finish. DeAndre Ayton can put points in the bucket for you at the rim. On top of we spread the ball really well, so our rotations should be able to keep up with their defensive kind of schemes. And I think I could see that because look at how the Clippers are kind of playing. Sometimes they'll try. So Paul George last night, he kind of just took it at whoever was the center. As soon as Rudy Gobert came out, he would just go at Derek Favors. And when Rudy Gobert is kind of in, they do a little more ball rotation. But we have that same type of attack with a Devin and a Chris because both those guys, have the vision to either set their guys up in the corners for those threes that we love from Bridges or Crowder or whatever, or both can shoot from both sides of the elbow. And where the Clippers are not shooting from the elbow. Who's shooting from the elbow on the Clippers team? So I just think like we are a harder matchup for Utah than they actually have right now. They're just not playing well.
Yeah.
They're not making shot. Like they keep going on deficits. And so obviously whoever we play, it's going to be a fight. I think I'd prefer the Clippers, but I can see why we would do well against the Jazz as well. Like honestly, both those teams should be scared of us and versus us scared of them.
Yeah. So let me ask you this too, and you tell me if you think this plays a role. I believe that it does. So obviously different places are opening up. I think Arizona is one of the places that opened up first with like no regulation, just fans just come here and just get crazy.
Right.
Suns and 4, right?
Right.
Is Utah open?
They are, but I think they have limited capacity.
Okay. Because I mean, I just got done watching The Last Dance for the 5th time because I love that documentary, and I'm listening to like Jordan's kids talk about like, no, we don't go to Utah, like it's crazy there. So like I kind of think fanhood plays a role here as well. So
okay.
You're
right. The Clippers have a trash fan base in comparison. I'm not trashing the Clippers or their fan base. So if anyone's a Clippers fan, I'm sorry, but in comparison, Suns and 4.
I said what I said.
You know what? You're right. I think the Suns, the city of Phoenix is going crazy right now, and I'm not even living there, and I can feel it from the East Coast. I just know it. I know it.
Yeah.
So in that stadium, you're right. It's going to be hard. One, it's going to be hard for whoever has to play us at home. But you're right. If we go to Utah, it's going to be just as hard for us to play there, especially as they open up. It's going to be in a couple weeks. Yeah, you never know.
And we never know too. Like Mike Conley comes back. I mean,
sure.
You know what I mean? So like, yeah, I'd rather play the clip show right now than I would.
Especially if Kawhi doesn't come back. That's a big thing.
Kawhi doesn't come back. Yeah, because I don't think PG can do it on his own. So
hey, man, he might be a Pacers PG now. Pacers PG. That was the best version of him. So
it was.
I mean, well, you know what? It's not the best version. I take that back. His best version is right now, but that's the furthest he's ever been was when he was on the Pacers. So maybe he'll bring it, maybe he won't. I don't know. I ain't rooting for him.
I'm not either. I do feel bad for the dude. All the nicknames.
I saw that he was chirping at Booker this season. I remember that. I ain't forget.
Yeah. I got that, or like when he chirps at Dame, and I'm like, dude, stop.
Dude, stop. Also, we have that memorable shot of Dev with the fade and the lie down in the bubble against the Clippers. I know they got that on their wall if they play us. Like, this man is not doing this again.
Yeah.
And on the flip side, Dev's like, I'm gonna do it again to you. So we'll see.
It's definitely a fun team, man. It's I'm enjoying watching it because I'm enjoying players coming in and like performing and doing their job. Everyone kind of knows their job right now, which is great.
Even the bench guys.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like they know. Yeah, are you
talking about the guys that don't even play, right? Well, I'm serious. Like those guys are.
I'm talking about like each one of them has gotten minutes. I mean, I'm looking at the roster right now, and like
I'm talking about like Aton Moore, who had minutes in the season, is not really playing right now. Abdul Nader got hurt. It's like Javon Carter. He might get used, he might not. Langston Galloway played early in the season, then didn't really touch the court after that. Even Frank Kaminsky, like he might not play, or he might come in. You never know. Like those guys, I like. It's amazing to me because when you think back, like when you played high school ball and stuff like that, or even like pickup games or intramurals as an adult, people get really upset about not getting to play. Like even if it's like 5 minutes, these guys are like, that's literally their job. But it's a testament to our team and how Monty kind of runs the show is that you don't see any angry faces on the bench when you watch games. Honestly, people are up cheering, clapping, and winning culture has a big deal to do with that. But even last year, when we were still trying to build this culture, it felt like the bench guys who were there last year also, kind of bought into like, maybe I'll play, maybe I won't, but I'm going to be a professional at all times. I'm going to support my guys. It's really cool to see. I'm like, so happy about it.
Yeah, because everyone has the same message. I think the thing that I've struggled with a lot of our past teams is like there isn't sound basketball happening. Like I don't understand
bad basketball.
Yeah, and I understand like every single one of you could you have my
number. You could go drop 40 any night everywhere, like on the planet.
Exactly.
I get that. These guys are not.
That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is like it wasn't pretty to watch. Like there are fundamentals and there are things that as a basketball head of like this is what should be happening, and it never did. And that's why like I would try my hardest, watch the first part of the season, and then I'm like,
can't do it.
It's
done. You know why? It's because there's an NBA standard. When you watch an NBA game, you kind of have a standard in your mind, and for how many years we were so below that standard, and now we are not only like at the standard, but like we're exceptional. We're almost setting a new standard for our own team, if you will. So it's you're right. Perspective back then, bringing it now. It just makes you appreciate what we have.
Yeah.
We're coming up on like 35 minutes. You know, I don't want to bore anybody if they're still listening. You know, if our voices put you to sleep, I'm so sorry.
No,
but I
never
do have a cool segment at the end of these that I've come up with, and Desi doesn't know what my segment is at the end.
Let's go.
But it's gonna be a fun one. Okay, so I'm gonna set a shot clock. You're gonna get 24 seconds on my shot clock, and I'm gonna give you a topic. It might be basketball, it might not. Okay, and you're just gonna have to give me what's on top of your head for 24 seconds, and I'll do a countdown, and then we'll kind of go from there. Okay.
Okay.
If you could see Desi's face right now, he's like, "What the hell is he about to ask?"
All right,
me?
let's go. All right, so I got 24 seconds.
Right.
24 seconds.
24 seconds. I'll give it to you. So we're coming up here in a second. I'll get the shot clock ready. I'm getting my topic ready. It's going to be Suns related, so get your mind in the Suns area. Okay. All right. All right. Dez, if you can pick players from everywhere on the Suns to build your team in 24 seconds, starting now.
Okay. So obviously I'm going to go with Steve Nash. Let's see, my two. All right. Obviously I need Charles Barkley on there. Got so much love for that dude back
halfway.
in the day. Oh my God. All right. So center, DeAndre Ayton. I'm going to put Dev Book on there. And I'm going to go with CP3.
2.
I just said it's CP3.
Okay. He got CP3, Dev Booker, Nash, Ayton, and Barkley. Okay. Well, you know, not bad. Not bad.
Running team. It's gonna have to be a running team.
That's a good starting 5. Okay, that's a good starting 5. A little bit of, we'll do some homework. We'll get some Suns history in here every now and then, and have fun with this. We'll probably expand our 24-second shot clock to some more basketball knowledge. Maybe involve some hip hop, some culture, some sneaker wear.
Wait, so hold on. Who's your 5?
Honestly, I had to think about this for a long time. It was actually really hard for me. I'd go a little different. I'm going to go Nash, Booker, Barkley, and Amari. And at the 3, right now I'm going Matrix because I'm building a team for right now's basketball.
Yeah.
But if we're going like all time, I don't know yet. I mean, I don't want to leave out. There's so many greats that have played, but you could tap into like the Jason Kidd. Like there's guys that have come through. But for me, that 5 was nasty. You got Nash.
You know what? This will be our homework. We got to build our roster next time.
Okay. And my roster versus your roster.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah, because you're right.
Summer League game.
Those are my favorite Suns.
But that doesn't mean they're the best for today. I want and you know what? You got to build.
But if it was high point scoring, like that's what we're seeing, and we're not really seeing a shit ton of defense.
No.
So yeah,
how about that for your homework? You got to build a '90s team and a today's team, and I'll do the same.
Okay.
Because those are definitely eras of basketball that I think we're most familiar with.
Yeah. I think that's fair.
Cool. Well, it's been real, man. It's been a fun time. I think we're going to start doing this a lot more. It took us way too long to get here, folks.
I know.
I don't know why. We just wanted, we had to start on Suns kind of style. We had to start with bad news and bring some positivity back to the squad. Now that y'all have sulked in the Chris Paul news, it's going to be okay. We're going to get him. We're going to win the next series and we're going to the finals. And when we do go to the finals, I'm going to a game. I don't know about this. Yes. I'm going to a game. So.
Let's talk about that because I'm 100% down. And you know what? Campaign, you're going to do work, man. Just keep.
Yeah, keep we have faith. I mean, Suns fans know. Maybe a Utah or Clippers fan. Clippers fans don't know nothing, but Utah fans might know. They might not. So we're going to bring it to them.
Yeah.
It's been real. We'll name this podcast later. So when we get a drop, we'll give it to you.
Let's go.
And you know what? You can follow me on the socials at Suns Fan Sci. Desi doesn't have a Twitter right now. He's got his professional Twitter. Maybe he wants to plug it. Maybe not.
Absolutely. At Desi Abeda, IG, Twitter, Facebook. Come say what up.
Yeah, just come say what up on Twitter to me. I don't want to talk to you on all the others.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. Take it easy. Be up. Suns in 4. Let's go.
Let's go. I said what I said.